I'm so excited to chat with Therese Skelly on the Awaken Feminine podcast because this woman is very near and dear to my heart. But I'm just going to introduce her first before we go in. So, Therese is the author of the best-selling book Love Based Mission: How to Create a Business That Serves Your Soul, and the host of the highly inspirational, Fiercely Brilliant podcast. And she's an in-demand guest on podcasts, live events, and summits. Therese works with high-achieving alpha females who have a huge mission in the world but no longer want to hustle and burn themselves out. She blends her 25-year psychotherapist background with business coaching, marketing, and sales training, plus her signature kick-ass mama bear wisdom. And I've experienced that. So definitely she does that. And I know she has so much love and wisdom to share with us today. She's joining me all the way from Arizona in the USA. Welcome,
No,
Therese.
I'm so happy to be here. What a treat. What a treat. Thanks
I'm
for
so
having me on.
excited. And I was just talking to you before the podcast. So Therese is my coach and mentor. And we've been working together, gosh, for a few months now. And she usually sees me in my bathrobe and pajamas. So this is the first time that I've graced her with makeup and actually a proper outfit. So
I'm impressed. You're gorgeous, because
oh, thank
usually
you.
apartments land where it's 6 a.m. for cocky. And, God forbid, like she's in a cozy robe, drinking tea. And so I'm like, girl, you scrub up really nicely.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
thanks for all the makeup today. I'm
Yeah.
honored.
I think not many people get the privilege of me in my bathrobe and
I feel very special.
pajamas. So
I feel very special. They're adorable. You're still cute as a bug in the jammies, the big fuzzy robe. So
thank you. I'm so excited for our conversation because you are so freaking amazing. But first question that I always like to ask my guests is, what is your definition of an awakened feminine?
oh, let's just throw it down in the beginning, right? Okay. I think those are two words. And I feel like I'm older. I'm in my 60s. I know you're shocked. I don't look it, but I'm in my 60s. And we didn't have awakened feminine back in the day. In fact, I entered the market space. I've been in the business coaching world for 20 years, in the coaching world for 20 years. And Kaki, it was very much the masculinized way to work. There was no feminine energy. There was no factoring in your intuition or your guidance, or God forbid, even your family. Like literally women were accused of you're hiding behind your children. You don't want it badly enough. If you wanted it badly, you'd put your kids in daycare.
Mm.
It sucked. And I don't know how many years ago, maybe 10, it started shifting into, well, probably because we all were burned out. We were trying to work like the boys, and we were like, holy shit, this is not working, right? And I know so many of my business colleagues, the women either lost relationships, lost their health, or just burned their business down because it's like, I can't, this is not sustainable doing it in this way. So to me, the awakened feminine, the feminine is, the receptive, the waiting on guidance, the yummy, generative by different means than the masculine. And the awakened feminine trusts that implicitly. Like I am so deeply connected to my guidance. Everything is sourced from the inside. Everything is sourced from what does my energy want? What does my body want? What's my soul out for? Not, but what is this quarter 3 marketing plan, right? So it really is starting everything from the inside in accordance with our seasons, our cycles, our energy. And then we use our masculine energy and like, okay, boom, make shit happen. Not the other way around.
Mm. I love that definition. And oh my gosh, I didn't know you're in your 60s.
Thank you. Holy hell. Oh my God. I'm
I'm
having a
like, what?
birthday. You made my day. We can hang up now, listeners, because I got what I need. So thank you so much. Yep.
No, you
I'm
need
in
to
my
stay
60s.
here. You need to stay.
I'll stay here. I'll stay
I
here.
can't believe it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. I thought you were at least like, in your 40s or like pushing it early
Okay.
50s. Okay. So,
Okay. Either you
yeah.
have bad eyesight or I look pretty darn good.
Let's
I'll
go
go for
with
that.
you look pretty
Well,
darn good.
yeah, I'll do that one. Well, here's the thing. Talk about an awakened feminine moment. I have a younger boyfriend, 8.5 years younger. And when I first
Cougar.
started dating him 4 years ago, because I have really a lot of good self-confidence. I don't have body issues. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I feel good. I'm in great shape. And suddenly I get this like hot, sexy thing, right? Like now I'm this freaking cougar with this hot sex, and he's in his 50s. I mean, it's not like he's 12, you know? And so I was like, oh God, I'm old. Oh shit, the wrinkles. And I immediately bought into, I am what my face looks like. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. There's a lot of sun, right? I immediately fell prey to the collective, like, oh shit. And he would say to me, you are beautiful. I love older women. You're gorgeous. And he saw, but when I got the hot young thing, it and it, like, I spent $2,000 at a mall on some facial shit. I've never done that. But I'm like, my boyfriend's younger. And now I look back and go, oh, good hell. That's not awakened feminine. That's not a solid, secure woman, right? And so anyway, that was just a little quick aside. But so thank you for that I'm in my 50s. I love you dearly.
Oh, I love you too. I just like, isn't it funny, like what we buy into when
wild.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And thank you for sharing that, because for some, like, I see you as someone who's like so self-confident, and you help like women like me and like Monique and like all the other people that I know. And it's like, what? Therese, what are you doing?
Oh, imagine living in it. Imagine looking in the mirror going, oh God. Because I never had that before until I got this younger. I always was the prettiest one in the relationship. I always dated older men, right? And I'm like, what? Would you get a goddamn wrinkle, Scott? I mean, he was like gorgeous. I still think he's gorgeous. But now I'm like, I'm way beyond. I don't care about the wrinkles. I'm not the wrinkles. And there's a lot of wisdom in here. I've earned the wisdom, right? But it was shocking, cocky, because I never had it. And then I turned 60, and then I got him, and I'm like, oh God. I literally, it was like all the collective shit of women and aging and relevance. I was pissed off. So I had to do a lot of work to kind of go, and now I'm super fit. I'm thin. I work out really hard. I'm like, ha. I'm way healthier than my, 20-year-old children. And I'm like, hey, bitches, mama's got it. Right. Yeah. So it's kind of fun. Yeah. I guess that's an awakened feminine. I don't know. So
it is. And thank you for your beautiful definition of awakened feminine, and just taking us down, like, just to show us like the changes in the last 10 years of, going from that really masculine, like, energy of like pushing and striving to now, like, what you teach and what you embody, this like, okay, let's allow things to flow and come in, and then use our masculine energy to make it happen. Yes. And I know you have helped me so much with that. So what I'll love for you to share is really, maybe a bit more about who you are and why you do the work that you do, like helping alpha females to just, get shit done, but in a very, in a beautiful, non-masculine way, so that we don't burn out.
Yes. And sometimes I'm an ass kicker, we've had some sessions where you're like, oh God, I'm kind of exhausted. So let me just show how I do it, because I think it's really unique and really cool. And I'll show you how I got here. So I was a psychotherapist, had a master's degree. I practiced and had my own practice for years and years. And then I got the crazy idea to go to life coaching school. And then suddenly I was business coach, which was a whole funny story. So then I did that for lots of decades, right? A couple decades. And along the way, Kaki, I started so I used to actually, let me tell you this, actually used to apologize that I was only a therapist, because I didn't think it was enough. Again, I came from the hardcore corporate. I mean, I wasn't in corporate ever, but all my peers in coaching were like, oh, I have an MBA, I worked in marketing in Silicon Valley. And I'm like, well, I was a therapist. I worked in a prison, and so for such a long time, I had this chip on my shoulder. I had a lot of trouble owning my value, a lot of struggle, like grabbing it, until people from the outside, my clients, would say, I hired you because you got that therapy thing. I was like, what? Yeah. What? Okay, right. And so I kind of started getting it. Then along the way, what would happen is my clients would start coming to me and say, I don't really need strategy. Like, I already know all that. Can you tell me why my sales aren't working? Can you tell me why I'm sabotaging? I was like, oh, so then the work started moving to more energy and more figuring out what's going on in the unconscious. And then I started knowing like things like the first time I was working with somebody and I heard in my head, like, they have a curse. And I'm like, wait, what did you say? And then I'm like sitting going, what the fuck do I do? Right. And then I'm told, well, you know how to clear it. And I'm like, so that was how I got developed. I just am like, okay, I guess I know how to clear that. All right. And then it got cleared. So I never went to like Barbara Brennan's School of Healing. I never did those things. I came in with this and I have refined it. And as you know, my intuition is mad quick, mad effective, so spot on. But it took me a really long time to own it because I was convinced, 𝐞𝐞𝐞, again, coming from the more, this is how you do it. These are the marketing rules. And you have to, I'm like, oh, Jesus, they're literally going to pull me off the stage and shoot me. They're going to think I'm a nut. Nobody's going to believe me. And so it took me so many extra years, right? So that's the backstory. I have such a heart to serve women who are freaking brilliant and are in their own way. So and I have done the hustle and grind. I've done the burn myself out. I've done the feeling like I'm a shitty mom because I'm not giving my little boys attention. I've done that. And so I'm so passionate because I've literally crawled on my knees to get to this point where now I'm like, oh yeah, I got it. And I have some mad superpower, as you know. And so that's the why. It's just like, I am so passionate about helping women that have big mission. The ones that are like, I'm here to have a whole bunch of people. Like, we have to all be doing this, right? We all have to be working in our mission. And y'all have a magnificent hearts, and there's just some shit in the way. And you don't need another strategy. You don't need a year-long mastermind program. You don't need to pay $50,000. You need a few months with me.
Yep.
So it's pretty effective. And it's like you could tell your story. You were so blocked working in a way that you didn't like. I mean, we just completely, I don't know if you want to talk about your business and how, I mean, you're a miracle. Like, you're one of my favorite success stories. So if you want, we could go there.
We can, if you want to talk about me instead of you on my podcast.
No, well, like because you're a person who had a lot of success and did it in a more masculine way, right? You knew how to make stuff happen.
Yeah.
And you used to say to me, it's weird, but the less I work, the more happens. If I take my hands off of the doing and focus on the being, magic happens. But how hard that is to trust, right? Like, that was the big one, to getting you to trust. Like, your spirit knows, your soul absolutely knows the blueprint, but your old way of being a high achiever was interfering.
Yeah. It's so for those who are listening to this episode or watching this episode and don't know me, I used to be a pharmacist. So I used to run the pharmacy at the Children's Hospital here in Perth. And yes, very masculine, very logical, very scientific. Like, everything's just like, yep, dot. Let's tick all the boxes and cross all the T's, dot all the I's. And I just get shit done. Like, shit just gets done. Like, I was the chief pharmacist, and I would, like, if the photocopy is not working, I'll just go fix it because I can fix it. It will take me like 2 seconds compared to having to call up support and getting a ticket and all that, because I can fix the photocopier. All right. And it's that was me. Like, and I would fix everything and do everything.
Right.
So going into business has been very, like, awakening.
Yeah.
And you do, like, I mean, I was so used to doing, like, pushing and striving, and through my journey I had improved, but it's only when I started working with Therese that it was just like, things just moved and changed, because like, when I'm in sessions with Therese, half the time I'm like, I need help with this. And then we just go off, and then she, like, because she's just her superpower. And then I'm like, oh, so we're releasing this today. And it's like crying and like doing all this stuff. I was like, right, okay, that was unexpected.
Yeah, now you're scaring everybody. Nobody's going to come to me now. No,
but it's the best thing ever.
It's the best thing, right? Well, you 𝐞𝐞𝐞, are so magical because you're willing to go to the depths. You're willing, like, we would hit a stuck point, right? And like with you, there were some unconscious blocks or other people's stories or your culture or your family, that were interfering. And we went there and we released them, and which freed you up then to have more access, right? So you came in the super, and you had the curse of the competent, right? Like,
Yeah.
because you did, right? And that's where high achieving women get stuck, because it's like, it's go mode. I know how to do it. And at some point that burns you out. At some point, it's like, I have little kids. My focus has to be here. I don't want it to be there. So it's literally like we have in you created a whole new operating system.
Mm. Yes.
And here's what you should know. I don't have a formula. I rail against formulas. I didn't say, cocky, this is what worked for me. You must do I said, what does your soul know to be true? And at one point you said, oh, I'm hearing that I'm not supposed to work for 3 weeks or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a part of our brain that's like, what? How can I make money and take 3 weeks off, right? And yet what happened?
Yeah. What happened was that everything just came together without me trying.
Exactly.
It is magical. Like, and I know it's not magic, but like it's just like when you clear
It's wild.
yeah, it's
Yes.
just
Yes.
you just can't go, what? Like, I don't need to be doing like working 24/7 and pushing and like putting myself out there, right? And things work. Like me not doing that. And I remember telling you at the beginning, you're like, what has worked for you? I'm like, well, what's worked for me is when I don't do anything, but when I put everything on social media and like do all the things,
Yeah.
it doesn't quite work. And you're like, what?
Okay. All right, then do more of that, right?
And yeah, and it's being comfortable in that what the fuck space, because you're like, that does not even compute. Like in my head is like, how can
Right.
you get things done by not doing anything, right?
It's wild.
So
Well,
when
go ahead, keep going. Sorry.
so when Therese helped me to, just release whatever has to be released and just help me just change my perspective and all the magical things that she does, I was like, oh, right. And I'm so much more comfortable. It's like, oh yeah, that's just how it works. And it works. Yep.
Exactly. So let's give the how it works, right? There's the 3-dimensional, there's the doing. I have to do marketing, I have to do social media, I see my clients. And then there's the 5D, there's the quantum, and it's all a blend. We live in one. We live primarily in the 5D, but when you can learn to create, I'm sorry, we live in the 3D, but when you can create in the 5D, and a lot of it, and this is the shift for the high achieving, alpha driven success, adrenalinized often woman, is it's who you have to become. So see, the old model is, well, I have to do more. And no, you have to be more. And again, like, I don't prescribe formulas. So I would say, Cocky, what is the truth right now? What does your business need? What does your body need? What does that book need? What does your family need? And all the answers were inside. You just had to have the courage to follow. And you did. Crazy woman. And you were crazy and you did it all, right? And boom, in like a month, your book is filled. Like, it's just stunning what has happened. And so you're such an example of, because it doesn't make sense. There's nothing logical about it. It's actually the opposite. Wait, work less and make more, do less, have more time and have just shit fly in. How in the world? But we're not working with the laws of the 3D. We're working in the quantum. So it's very illogical, but I know it works.
Yes, it so works. And I'm always in awe when it happens. But I think before it was like this, like, oh, okay, that's happened. Okay. But you kind of don't really believe that that's really what happened.
Yes.
But now it, like, after working with Therese, it's like, yeah, that's how it works, baby.
Exactly. Because you had to break your conditioning, right? You had the operating system of more is better. I'll just make shit happen. And when you have that, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Right. And so to release that, and then to be in that void of like, what am I going to do? Oh my God. Oh, okay. I'll try that. Right. And you're just crazy enough to follow what I said. And I love the crazy ones. So.
I love being crazy because it's more fun being crazy, I found, than being normal.
Right.
Whatever.
And so talk about, like, for you, because all the clients that I work with, every single one, get more time with their family, more rest, more restoration, more life. There's more life and generally more money, right? So you want to speak about that? Because that to me is the most important part. I can get people money, but obviously not to sell their soul, right?
Yeah.
So you also got that?
Yes. So much more like settled with my family life because I've got two young kids. If you don't know, they're 7 and 3. So they're not like grown kids where they can be self-sufficient. My 3-year-old this morning lost her shit because she wanted to listen to songs, and it took me a long time. So that's how demanding that they can be. And when you've got a big mission and you want to get shit done and do all the things, it's it was hard to kind of go, oh, I actually need to spend more time with my family, and put that aside. It's like, which way do I go? Like they're both so like, it's just so important. But me spending more time with my girls actually helped me to bring more into my business. Does that even make sense to anyone? No, but again, that's how it is.
Exactly, that's how it is.
Yeah.
One of my clients, she used to make money by doing speaking gigs, right? She would sell on a stage and she just could close a room. And this one time she was like, for 3 weeks, she was really ill. She had a lot of stuff going on. And I just said, here's the deal. I need you to trust that if you take care of your body, God will take care of your business. I want you to surrender to that and be completely selfish. Just honor yourself, just heal. She made $86,000 in that 3 weeks.
Wow.
Being in bed. It was a massive lesson that, oh shit, okay, there's another way. And how in the logical world does that happen, right? That doesn't happen in our 3D, A equals B. I do this and that happens. But in the quantum, in the infinite field of all the things, my client laying in bed, healing herself, just honoring and saying, okay, here's my commitment. Woo, life supported her.
Yeah.
And so the support for you is when I care for my children, which is a huge priority, God supports my business, right? I just really believe that. I just live that fully. And so that's, if you're listening and you might be like, what? It's possible. It's because seriously, this is what happens is high achieving women hit this like, oh God, okay, yay, I built this monster and I hate this thing. This thing is sucking me dry. I used to say, I wish I could just sell shoes because this shit's pissing me off. I can't really ever sell shoes. I have to do the work. But the way I was doing the work was really damaging to me. And so I know that pain of like, I'm overgiving. That's what we do. We overgive, right? And we have sometimes little codependent threads like, but I can't say no, and I can't. And what are they going to think if I take 3 weeks off? And right. And so a lot of it, 𝐞𝐞𝐞, as you know, is like, it's like forming a new identity, like a more, I'm hearing the word sovereign and solid woman. And from that emanates so much more attractiveness, so much more magnetism. People are like, whoa, shit, what are you? Whoa, yes, right? Instead of chasing them.
Yeah. And I just love it that we can do that. And it's all really just getting out of your own way and just surrendering to to it all. And so I'm just so as you can tell, I love Therese. Like, she is like fucking amazing. So if you are feeling stuck, you need to go and find her.
Yes, find me.
Yes,
I will be stalked. Please go ahead, find me on all the things. I appreciate that. Yeah. So.
And if you can't find her, come find me, and I'll tell you where to find her.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, darling.
Because just amazing. Can I talk to you a bit more about how you're developing your knowing? Because I think that's a really interesting story, being a psychotherapist for so many years, and then all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck? Why, what?
Right. Yeah. Oh God, they didn't teach me that in therapy school. Oh God. Yeah.
Were you spiritual before?
Oh yeah. It's really cool. I've always been a spiritual seeker. I've been all the religions. I've done all the things. I knew from such a young age that I was like, for example, this is fun, a little funny story. So my family was Catholic, and I went to, it's called CCD. It's like Catholic school, like, or Catholic education or whatever. And I think I was in second grade. And there's a saying in the Catholic tradition that says, Lord, I'm not worthy to receive you, but only say the word and I shall be healed. And at age 8, I'm like, bullshit, I'm not worthy. What are you talking about? Like, I'm like, what? and I could never just accept you're doing this because you're this religion, or we do this. And I'm like, no. And I just sought all the things. And so I've always had this depth of connection, depth. And then I kind of went I kind of had like a little religious addiction. I went a little too far in some things, and then I threw it all out. I threw out Jesus, basically, I was like, and then I got Jesus back. And I love that. And I'm really connected to the divine feminine energy. Mary is my, like, always with me. And I'm connected to the earth. I love the earth energy and the nature. And so, yes, deeply spiritual.
Yeah. So then when you started developing, like when you started knowing, like how did then you develop further, like with incorporating that with your coaching and your mentorship?
Yeah. Well, this is funny. I how many years? 15, 16 years ago, I was working. There's a guy named Christian Michelson, who's one of the top multi-million-dollar coaches. And I used to be a coach on his company, and I would coach him. And he introduced me to this technology called the Wave Maker. It's German technology. And basically it does what I do today, except it's a machine, and you hold these things and you muscle test. And there's, like, here's where the false belief is. And then you run the machine, and then you muscle test, and it's like, boom, it's gone. And
what?
I know, it's crazy. I do the same thing today, so in that day, I'm like, okay, this is the machine. The machine does all the stuff. Okay, so I hook them up, and I, they have the belief. It's negative, meaning like, no, they don't have that good belief. And then it's like, so this one day, I was doing this session with a woman, and the belief was cleared, and I had forgotten to turn the machine on. And I'm like, because I always ascribed causation to the machine. The machine did that. And actually, and then later, another time, somebody else was saying, well, why do you need the machine? I'm like, because I need the machine. What? I don't know, right? Because there was no part of me. I had a lot of trauma as a child. So there's a lot of people I know that are like, oh, I was always connected to the angels, and I was seeing dead people. I didn't have that. I was seeing alcoholics. I had too much trauma to see the dead people, right? So I never was connected. I knew I was seeking, but I didn't know that I had intuition. I didn't have this I know I was I didn't know it was an empath either. And I was super sensitive, and I took on all this shit, but I didn't understand any of that. Right. So one day I discovered, oh my gosh, HSP, highly sensitive person. Oh, okay. So I kind of started going, wow, my nervous system is wired a little differently. Made me stop feeling like, what's wrong with me? I'm so sensitive, and I can't be in smoky rooms and too much light. You know what I mean? I can't. When you're sensitive. And then I just started getting the messages, and then like life gives you the messages, right? So one of my colleagues, a local woman who's very well-known 7-figure person, said, if you're a healer, and if you don't start saying you're a healer, you're never going to make the money. And I'm like, well, hell, I guess I'll never make the money because I can't say that. Like, I was just like, ugh. And then another client of mine said, that just being in your energy is healing, don't you? And Kaki, I didn't. Because I came from not enoughness. I came from having to prove. I came from a history of shame and trauma and abuse. And so I thought I had to do like all the things in order to get you to pay me and feel like you're getting a good value. So I had so much over delivering and overcompensating and not enoughness. It's like I had the gift, but I had so much shit on top of it, right? And so suddenly, literally, the clients were the ones who were saying, I don't want to talk about strategy. Can you just tune in? And I'm like, oh. And I used to do, like I would stand up and do a like standing pendulum. That's how I did the muscle testing. So I'm literally like, okay, on audio, on the calls. And I'm like, oh, that's hard. Hold on, I'll stand. Okay, hold on. So I was doing it that way. And then I just started picking up the pendulum. And in the beginning, it was like, I would have my pendulum and I'd get something and I'm like, oh, shit. Oh my God. Like, what? You won't believe, wow, really? What? I was so shocked. And now I'm like, yeah. And in fact, now I'm so cocky, and it's not me. This is not arrogance. It's not ego. I'm just like LeBron James, right? I just know the gift. I just have the gift, you know, right? And so now something will come and people will say, nope. And I'm like, yeah, this is always right. So I hear you, but yeah. And again, it's not an egoic, I have the answer. I'm like, this is your energy. I'm just tuning into you. Just because we don't understand it, we're going to keep going because this is literally never wrong. Never. I mean, just today, I'll give an example. I was talking to somebody and I don't know them from Adam. And they're stuck here. And I just tune in and I hear, and I said, what happened when you were 12 or when that person was 12? And it's like, oh my God, this. And I'm like, well, there we go.
Yeah, I love
it. Because it always, and so now I don't fight it. I don't, and the more I trust it, the more I freaking talk about it, because I wouldn't talk about it for so long. I'd say, oh, I know mindset, I know a little psychology. And now I'm like, oh, you don't even know the superpower, because I have to be the lighthouse, right? And coming from a place of not owning my value, taking years to get to where I am, losing clients because I'm not saying the right words, you know what I mean? Not getting the right clients. And now that I'm like, all right, come on. It's magnificent. But it's a journey, especially something like this, because it's weird and it's different. And I didn't know how to talk about it. And so now I do. And I get to shine and help more people. Thank you for that. I really like that question. Thanks for asking me all that.
Yeah, it just came through to ask you. So
thank you.
Yeah. And I just love the pendulum because, you know, whenever we're in sessions and you're like, what about this? I'm like, oh, yeah, that.
That, or
yeah.
Well, and I don't always need the pendulum because often I use the pendulum to sort, right? Because sometimes like here's what's happened. I've gotten more, in the beginning, I didn't get visualizations. I didn't get any visions. I'm more of like an auditory kind of, I just have a knowing. And I would use the pendulum all the time. And now like, I could feel it in my body. Or now I'll get like, you know, like I'll get physical sensations. I had a new thing happen recently, because normally, like if I'm talking to you and I could go, hold on, there's something about your grandmother coming in, boom, 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 boom. There's a client I'm working with, and for 3 days I'm getting messages. Her husband, I'm like, what? He's healthy. I'm like getting these messages. I'm not even talking to her about anything. And I'm like, the husband. And I just messaged her. I said, something's happened with a husband. And it was exactly what was needed for her to do this next piece of her business.
Oh, wow.
And so it's even opening. I'm like, the other day, there's another client of mine that's going through some health stuff. And out of the blue, I'm like, here's a message. Tell her she's held and supported and all is going to be okay. I don't know what's going on with her, but I deliver the message now. And she's like, oh my God. So now I'm so exquisitely in tune with it. I get to actually be of higher service. I get to make more of an impact, more of a difference, right? So the message that I want to talk about is open yourself up to all the things. I always share how I didn't own my value, how I struggled, because a lot of people do. Like we have like, really? But just me? Who am I? Right? And I think that's such an important message to hear, that who you are, what you have is sufficient. And if you say yes to it, it can grow and expand.
Yes, definitely. And I was someone that didn't own my value as well. So it's, I think for women especially, we do find that we don't own our value, because you know, what you were saying before is we think, oh, that's egotistic if we say that we're good at something, right?
Right.
Yeah, because we're taught to not talk about ourselves and talk about ourselves in a way that may make other people feel uncomfortable.
Absolutely. There's a lot. You know, when I first started doing the okay, I'm switching, I'm not focusing on business coaching, I'm going to really focus on this energy and intuition stuff. I went through about 1.5 years of barely selling anything because I couldn't own it. So I turned myself into a business psychic. I'm like, okay, I'll do a clearing. And then they would get, whoa, and then they would go away and work with another mentor. Because in the beginning, Kage, I literally was like, okay, well, if I'm not helping you with your marketing and I'm not looking at your copy and I'm not helping you with your sales, what good is this?
Mm.
Like that stuff took up time. That was the fluff, and I loved it. And I could do all those things, and I do. But when my coach at the time was like, cut off all that, just only work on the energy and emotions, I couldn't ground it for a year and a half. I was like, and then my friends would be like 15-minute session with you could be worth $10,000 for like one ship. But I was in the old 3D. The more I do, the more valuable I am. And so my own journey of like, wow, okay, so there's so much to it when you're stepping into working in the thing that is uniquely yours, because it's so freaking easy. It's like, I can't even believe I get paid for this. So freaking easy, right? And so in our minds are like, oh, it should be harder. You got to work more. So
Yeah. I love that you shared that because it's just such a great example of what happens when you don't own your value and you can't accept yourself or the gifts that you have.
right.
Yeah.
Everybody loses.
Yeah. Because you can't help the people that can be helped, and then you're feeling like shit because nothing's
All
working.
good. So yeah, it's just a vicious suck cycle, right? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get yourself out of that cycle? How did you end up then really owning your value and owning your gifts?
There's another long. I'm an Irish girl. I got the gift of gab, so there will be a story attached to all the things. So I went the opposite way, right? I pendulum from, okay, I'm not talking about anything business. I'm just doing this stuff. And then I had some colleagues go, you're a business coach. What are you doing? Like, oh my God, you rock at sales and marketing. What are you doing? I'm like, oh, okay, thank God I'm home. Right. So then I started doing business coaching again. And it was really nice because I love those things. I love to teach women selling. Oh my God, I love to help people with their messaging. I love those components, right? And so it was kind of, I don't think it was chickening out, but it was like I kind of, okay. And then 2021 hit, and it was the hardest year I've ever lived. My dog got killed. I got COVID so badly for months and months and months. My lungs were just really damaged. And my son not only had COVID, but he developed as a result of COVID a psychosis. He for 6 months was mentally ill, scary mentally ill. I'm the only parent. And so during that time, Kaki, I literally was like, I can barely work. I mean, I'm literally locking myself in the bedroom with my dog, afraid of my son. Today, thank God he's doing amazingly well. To just run to the rest of the story, he's doing great. But for a whole year, and then he moves out because he was living with me, and I had a hand surgery and injury, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? And so a couple things happened. I had to surrender. I had to look at my identity of, wow, I'm pretty wedded to what I make. I'm very wedded to what I create. I'm very wedded to, I am a helper. I help people. I serve. And now I'm sitting here with a goddamn cast on my hand, eating gluten-free cookies, watching Ted Lasso, going, I mean, that was really good actually, but but the downside was like, who am I? Who am I? Who am I without that? So along comes our friend Adriana, right? And we met I hosted on a podcast, and she invites me to a retreat in the spring in Scottsdale. And I'm so broken by this point because I barely worked. My income is the lowest it's been, sick kid. I'm exhausted. I have no sense of professional accomplishment. Now, what I did do in that time, Kaki, I sat there and I'm like, you know what? I'm love. That I am love. I really let my identity completely strip away, surrendered all the things, trusted God. I had boatloads of money coming in. I'm like, all right, I'm like, shit, it's working. All the money's coming in. I'm totally supported, right? And I'm like, you know what? Wow, let's let all this identity go, reaffirm that I'm love. And then crazy Adriana says, come to this retreat. And I had such a crisis of confidence because I was always in a 6-figure business. And now I'm like, oh God, do I deserve to sit at the table? Oh, and my boyfriend, a sexy young thing, is like, your tree's fucking Skelly. You go and I'm like, right. I mean, seriously, you do not know what it took to get at that event. I mean, I was like, who am I? I don't deserve. I haven't been here. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And these words fell out of my mouth. I said to the people at the table, if anybody wants to experience a session with me, we know how the rest of the story goes. So our friend Adriana says, I'd love to. And she and I, like, and I'm sitting here because she's a powerhouse, right? And I'm feeling very small, very less than. And I'm like, and I'm doing this session like, oh God, oh fuck, oh God, because I'm in a like really one down place, right? And I tap in, and I had to deliver a really, you know how sometimes I deliver those messages like,
yep.
And I'm in my head going, oh God, oh shit, oh God. And I'm like, I just said it about her soul and, you know, some past life things. And she just was like, it was transformational for her. And to the end of that, she's like, I have to work with you. I was like, wow, okay. And you see where her life is today. Right. And we partner on things, and I'm part of her business in some of the programs she runs, and just being with them, just doing it, just like, okay, I'm so scared, I'm so insecure, and I never had insecurity, but I was out basically a whole year, right? And to show up and go, and now at, you know, all 6, 7, 8 months later, I'm so freaking strong because I'm just now doing the work. But I wanted to share the journey. You can do the work in spite of not making the money or being out for a while or down out. Like, the work is the work. Your gift is your gift. But we have to get ourselves big enough to go show the fuck up, get at the table, mouth, and do something. And so that's the how. That was and I don't remember what question you asked, but that was the story that came out. So maybe that needed, I'm sure there's some relevance there somewhere. I'm like, wait, did I answer the question? But I think it's important to share the journey because we're not always on top of our game. Yeah. Sometimes life kicks us in the head. Sometimes, you know, to me, there's nothing more important than family. And I had to attend to my very old son. And so that completely took me out and took a lot of my confidence with me just because I wasn't using it. Right. But now, where I am a year later, I have more reach, more impact, more fun. I've made bunches of money this year. It's like, and it's in the way I want to do it, with exactly who I want to do it with. Yeah. So it's just kind of rolling with the cycles of life, but being present to what's next for you.
Thank you for sharing that story. And it was very relevant because I asked you how you got out of your way to accept your value and your gifts. So it was perfect. You answered it perfectly, even though you had no idea whether you answered my question or not.
I just start going, that's my intuition. I'm guided to tell the story. Thank you. Oh my God.
You answered my question. And wow, what a story. I didn't know that. So
I know most people don't. Yeah.
And you know, it's also just so important to remember that, like, you know, you had all this success, and then, you know, then you get to the stage of your life and you're like, what? You know, you're so confident in everything, and then you suddenly just lose it all, like all the confidence, and the business is not coming in. And it can happen at any time, but it happens when we don't own our gifts and our value and do the work that we need to do to, you know, to step up and be at the table because we're too afraid.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, here's the funny part is it happened because I had said a prayer, right? So prior to Adriana asking me, I was talking to a business girlfriend and I said, all right, I got to restart. What do I do? She said, you need to network. I'm like, okay, I'm going to throw up in my mouth if I got to go sit at a BNI. I've had an online business. I was super successful with the webinars and all the online. And she's like, nope, you have to network. And I'm like fighting and kicking and screaming. And I said, okay, I'll network if it's aligned. I'll only network with people of like-mindedness. So I said, okay, God, I'm willing. And then boom, I get the invitation. So now I'm like, shit. I literally called it in. I asked. That's an example of the trust. I didn't, because I'm like, I don't know. I don't want network. I have to leave my house. Like, really? Right. And Adriana's invitation was so magical. It was literally a mile away from me. I didn't even have to travel. Right. Yeah. And I'm like, I think I have to go. But not only did I go, I came, right? Because I
Mm,
could have just sat back and I could have been a participant. And I
yes.
hear my boyfriend, like, you choose fucking scale, show up, and something in me. Because sometimes we forget. And there's no shame in that. There's no, I mean, I was battered last year, and there is no shame to say to somebody, help me remember, like, really, who am I? I think that place of being vulnerable and in receivership is the most important thing, because we get like, oh, I'm fine, I don't need, I take care of
Mm,
everybody, right? And so to have the boyfriend do that for me, and to have other people that's like, oh my god, you got it, you're like I needed a little bolstering, and
yeah.
then I just took off, right, because of the bolstering. And that's a really important lesson, because sometimes when you're an alpha female, you're the top of the heap. You're the big girl in the cheese. Wait, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think fish in the pond. I don't know. I'll just kill the metaphors here. But there can be a loneliness or an isolation. Like, God, I don't want anybody to know this. So that's why I tell my stories, because I want people to know. Because you would have no way of knowing that in March I'm sitting across from Adriana going, I don't belong here. You don't know that. You only
Mm-mm.
see powerhouse magical trees. So I want to share the stories, because wherever you are, you can always grow, right? You're not
Mm-hmm.
relegated to, oh God, it's just a season. It's just a season of your life. And now look at this season. Holy hell.
Yeah, I love
Pretty
that.
darn good season. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. Like, stories are so important to, yeah,
Yeah.
stories are just important that we share and being vulnerable. Like, so thank you for sharing your vulnerable story. And it's so important for people to receive it and go, oh, it's only for a
I can do it.
season.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Because it's really easy, Kaki. Somebody could look at you and go, wow, she must have a silver spoon. She probably has everything. Da, 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 da. She never worked a day in her life. She's never suffered. She's never, right. We look and we idealize or we glamorize the people that we kind of look up to. And you don't know how they got there. You don't know that a kid didn't just die, or they just went through a divorce, or they've been sick, or they have, body dysmorphia, or whatever the things, right? So I want to humanize the journey. I want to, like, hey, I went through this. So when you do, and or if you are in it, it's okay. It's
Mm,
okay. Right.
yes.
I think that's so important, to just be just really real.
Yes. And there's like that there's like you mentioned before that there's no shame where,
No shame.
whatever age or part of the journey
Exactly.
you're on, things happen and there's no shame in
Yep.
it. And
Right.
all you need to do is really just trust
Yes.
and
That's
just
it.
let go.
That's it. That's right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh my God, I'm looking at the time. You know that I can talk to you all day. So
I know. I
yeah.
know.
But sadly, I need to wrap up. So I'm
Okay.
gonna
I understand that.
ask you one last question before we wrap up, and that is, what is setting your soul on fire at the moment, Therese?
Hmm. Well, sexy boyfriend always does, but we'll put that aside. Kaki, I created a new membership community, and it flies in the face of regular marketing, right? Because I started listening, like, you're supposed to serve more people, and it's $97, because there's a lot of people that I couldn't serve because I have higher end fees. And I just was like, just start it. And within 3 months, and now at this point, there's like 30 people in it. It's bringing thousands of dollars in a month. And I'm just doing such great work in there. It's this beautiful community, and I'm loving it. And I'm literally, everything is based on, for me, following the energy. And I'm like, oh, I'm having so much fun. We have 3 calls a month. Like, it's like the women are like loving it. And it's just like, I listen to guidance, and traditional wisdom would say, why would you waste your time on a $97 a month product? That makes no sense, right? And I'm just trusting and knowing that my good work is going to go out, and it's all going to work. So
Mhm.
that's the one that's setting my soul on fire. It's called the Activate community, because I want to activate next level versions of themselves. So
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is so exciting. And like I said before, if you are feeling stuck or you're just looking for a business coach that creates magic, Therese. We'll stop.
thank you.
Done.
Thank you. Done.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your time, your love, and your wisdom today, Therese. If people want to
Mm.
find out more about you or how they can work with you, where should they go?
Well, full disclosure, my website's a little dated. It's waiting to get refreshed. So you can go to thereseskelly.com or find me on Facebook, Therese Skelly, not my business page, my personal page, and or ts@thereseskelly.com. Just reach out. I'm all around. So just find me, reach out. Happy to have a conversation and see what's possible.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'll have all your details in the show notes so people can reach out. And thank you once again. I love you so much. You are like,
yeah, it's mutual. It is
yes.
absolutely mutual. Thanks for this. It's been great.
Hey, bye.